go. Good morning and welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for taking time out of your morning. Maybe you're at work, maybe you're on your way to work, maybe you're taking the day off. Whatever it is, thank you for joining me this morning, joining and tuning in to Dr. Tanya Live. Before we dive in, I do something every day, and I'm going to continue to do that. And that is to ground myself in just one word of scripture that has ministered to me from the very beginning. And that is Ephesians 2 and 10. For we are God's masterpiece, created anew in Christ Jesus, so we can do the good things that He planned for us long ago. I love that verse. I keep using that verse and sharing that verse because it just reminds me of who I am. And it reminds me that I was made to be really unique and special. There was intentionality behind God making and creating me. The same for you. You also were created um, uniquely and special, and there's something about you that makes you stand out from other people. And because of that, um, you are a masterpiece. You're like a piece of work of a work of art. And so I love that. I love that particular verse for that particular reason. You are not an accident. There's nothing about you that's an accident. Everything about you, God created intentionally. And some of you are here because you are building a business. You have a dream that won't let you go. And it is a part of the plans that God had for you long ago, because that's what happens when we have these dreams that God gives to us. It's like He puts desire inside of us. So, whatever happens today, I really want you to just walk away understanding what your identity is and that God has plans for you. I do have a favor. If you don't mind, can you just share this with people that you know? Let them know that we're on here today. We're talking. I'll share the topic in a minute. But if you are not already following me, I also ask that you follow, subscribe, or like my social media. Thank you so much for joining me. This is day 37 of my 90-day challenge. I have challenged myself to go live for 90 days, and I'm on day 37. So I'm not quite halfway there. And every single day, I am showing up live to encourage women and occasionally some men who are ready to start a business. They have a dream in their heart to get a business going. Maybe they've started it already. Maybe you've started it already, and you're trying to figure out how to get it moving and how to get it off the ground. Maybe you are someone who is looking to build a business that you had started once before, or maybe you haven't started at all. And this is your opportunity to learn why you need to make a move and get it going. For those of you who are new here, I am Dr. Tanya, and this is Dr. Tanya Live, real talk for women and some men building their businesses. Today's topic is building on purpose. So that's what we're going to talk about today, without pressure. So building on purpose without pressure. So I always take time before I have these lives to kind of think about, like, what does this topic mean and how is it relevant to somebody who is looking to build a business and or has a dream that they're looking to build, because sometimes they don't realize that the business that they need to build is based around a book that they're supposed to write. So it could be that you are supposed to be writing a book, and maybe you didn't realize authors also have to be entrepreneurs, because there's a whole process of selling and marketing that's really important to getting people to know that your book is even there. When we talk about building on purpose, it's really kind of rooted in, like, who we are. So I start off with this whole piece about us being God's masterpiece. But being God's masterpiece, the uniqueness that each of us bring to the table really has something to do with how God created us. So He created us to have various gifts and abilities. He's created us to be really unique and special in ways that we may not even realize. And because of the way that God has created us, the intentionality that He had in creating us, um, that essentially is what makes us a masterpiece. We stand out. There's nobody else like us in this whole earth, nobody. And the purpose that He puts inside of each of us looks different. It varies. It's not the same from person to person. Although you might find somebody who has the same purpose that you have, and you may think, hey, we've got the same purpose, but there may be a different way that God wants you to live out that purpose. There may be a different assignment that you have from somebody else who has a similar purpose as you. Ultimately, we all have similar purposes. Um, when we think about God given purpose, because the God given purpose is always going to have a broader appeal, and it's going to be so much bigger than just us. And it's going to be something that is going to make a difference in this world, either with people or with systems or with nature or whatever. Like there's something about all of our purpose that ties us together and connects us to God, because it is really He who puts this purpose inside of us. And so when we talk about building on purpose, I really want you to think about the uniqueness of you. So I don't know about you, but I notice that the more I go onto my social media, and I notice this in Instagram, I notice this on Meta, a little bit on LinkedIn. Um, I can scroll and it's like every 2 to 3 things on my news feed are ads. Like there are ads for everything. And the algorithm is interesting. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll go through and I'll say, not interested, not interested, if I have time. But I don't always have time to do the not interested. So, a lot of times I'll just keep getting more and more different types of ads. And the algorithm will send you different kinds of things based upon the kinds of stuff that you look at. Right. And so if you're not careful, you'll get to the place where there'll be so much noise out there in the social media world or in commercial land or whatever, because even if our phones are listening, so even when you are talking about something with friends, you'll go on your phone, next thing you know, you got an ad about that thing that you were talking about. And so it's really interesting how technology is working right now. Like it's always on, it's always moving, always doing something. And so I will run across these ads, and sometimes the ads are like things about like, hey, let me sell you this wonderful AI tool. It's going to support you in getting your business moving, and it's going to help you organize yourself. And you see all of these ads about AI, and if you happen to click on one, then you're going to get about 10 more, right? Then you get an ad about like, oh, here's a speaking course, because I say something about speaking and, getting a speaking engagement or whatever. And next thing I know, I've got an ad about speaking courses, and I can make you the richest, speaker on the circuit. Like nobody can make more than you after you follow my plan. You get all of these kind of ads, or you'll get that ad that's like, I've got the best marketing strategy that you've ever seen. In fact, here are all the people that use my marketing strategy, and this is why you need to buy my marketing strategy. Or you get I'm going to help you manifest. That's the big word right now, manifestation. And it's like all of it is a distraction. It's like, oh, I can help you with, coach you through your program. Now, I know I tell you that I can help coach people through their businesses as well, and it is true. But what I don't want is for you to get so caught up in all the noise and everything that's around you that you lose sight of the unique thing that God gave to you. Like, what is the thing that God gave to you? Here's the thing: if He has plans for you, if He has plans for you to do good works, if He's got these plans for you, all the noise that's out there needs to be like sifted through. Like we need to get through all of this noise, because this noise will distract us from just following the plans that God has for us, for you, right? So if He's got specific plans for you, He's created you to be unique, and there's purpose that He's put inside of you, there's gifts that He's given to you, and all of these are unique to you. Doesn't that mean that those plans are also unique? And so, what we can find ourselves doing if we're not careful is not building the plans that God has for us on purpose. We can find ourselves getting so distracted by all the noise that we start trying to do things like everybody else is doing it. there is a plan that is unique to your business. There are ideas that are unique for you that aren't for everybody else. And what we often think is that we've got to copy. So that's the pressure that we often find ourselves under, where we think we've got to copy what other people are doing. Well, if they did it this way, then I probably should do it that way too because they had success. Or you know, if they if they say that we should take this path, maybe I need to take this path too because these people were successful by going this path. But your path and their path are not the same path. My path is not the same as your path. Now, I might have ideas, and one of the things that I do when I work with clients is I don't talk about my path to entrepreneurship. I talk about what their path is supposed to be to entrepreneurship because God gives us different plans. Sometimes He doesn't show us all of it. Sometimes we just get a glimpse of what God may be showing us, and He'll show us the first couple of steps, perhaps. Maybe not even that much, sometimes more. But whatever, excuse me, whatever it is that God may be showing you, you have to be attuned to it. So, for us to build things on purpose and not get distracted by the noise that's out there, we've got to be in tune with what God is showing us. So that means we got to spend some time with Him. We've got to be silent and still before Him. We've got to read His Word. We've got to understand like what it is that He may be sharing with us because His Word is illuminating. When I look at this Ephesians 2:10, that we are God's masterpiece, and just how uniquely made we are, like, okay, so that is like a big deal. I don't know if you realize how much of a big deal it is that you are unique. Like people, I think they say, like, that person's a unicorn. And I think what that means is if you're talking about somebody being a unicorn, you're really talking about they stand out, they're unique, there's something different about them that nobody else can compare, right? But that's also you. Like you also are that kind, you have that kind of uniqueness about you. And the way that you're supposed to build your business or build out the dreams that God has put inside of your heart are not necessarily going to look like anybody else's. And they're not supposed to look like anybody else's. You are supposed to be a pioneer or a unicorn. You are supposed to stand out and be different. It's not supposed to look the same way. And we do get ourselves caught up in that. That's the pressure that we put on ourselves. We begin to compare ourselves with who else is doing what we're interested in doing. So, here I talk about coaching and the kind of coaching that I do with individuals. And it's real easy for me to look at everybody else's coaching program. It's real easy for me to do that and to look at how they're doing coaching and the ways that they approach their clients and get new people. But what I'm doing and what they're doing is not supposed to look the same. God doesn't need two of us. He doesn't need five of us. He needs us, to be individuals, to be the individuals that He created. It shows the world how unique we are. It shows everybody, what God has done when He created you, right? And so He doesn't want you to follow everybody else's journey and to do what everybody else did. It doesn't look the same. Even when we look at like people who have done great things. So I think about like a Michael Jordan, for example. So, I grew up in the era where Michael Jordan was like, the greatest ball player of all time. And, they called him the GOAT. And when you listen to his story is really unique. So his story didn't start off with him um, being a star basketball player as a kid. In fact, he was not. Um, he didn't even make the team when he was a kid. And so, like, but here he became the g- the greatest in his era. Now, some people would argue and say that maybe Kobe Bryant was better than him. Maybe he was. But even when you look at everybody's story, whoever the greats are, their stories are not the same. Why? Because they are a masterpiece, just like you are. And as a masterpiece, you don't have the same story that everybody else has. You don't have the same path that everybody else has. It's unique to you. So, how are you supposed to get from an idea to your business being an actual business? You do it by following the path that God lays out for you, right? So we don't lean on our own understanding or on everybody else's journey, although their journeys may give us ideas from time to time. And it's not like of other people's journeys are useless. It's not that, but it's that we have to attune ourselves to what our unique journey is supposed to be. It's not going to look the same. When I think about, the business that Dr. Eric and I run together, and, in that business, we work with school districts, we find that the work that we do with school districts do not look like all the other consulting agencies out there. In fact, it's not supposed to. What's really unique about us is we've got two doctoral level owners of a company, and because we have particular credentials and we bring different skill set, different gifts and purpose to the work that we do, God has allowed us to design things that aren't what other people have designed. And if we were not careful and we leaned on and got pressure from what everybody else is doing, we would find ourselves basically mimicking other people's work. And so then what would distinguish us from the next company or some other company that might be out there? We all have our own journey, and that journey really is not intended to be like everybody else's journey. And so we have to be really careful about that. We've got to be careful about how we take this journey. There are people that are going to tell you, well, you need to do this. You should do this. You got to do this. You got to do it like this. And they are well-meaning. They are well-meaning, especially if we have entrepreneurs in our circle. If we have business owners in our circle, I can't tell you how many times I'll talk to business owners and they all have like the best advice. Or I'll watch videos. Like there's this one I talked about this before. There's this one um social media influencer that I follow that goes around interviewing million and billionaires. And we'll ask different questions. And we'll ask questions like, what are the secrets to your success? Or what are the things that helped you earn, $10 million dollars in 1 year? Or what are the things that helped you become a billionaire? And all of them have something different to say. All of them. Every single one of them. And that is because they have learned something really important. And this is what I'm trying to tell you, that when we're building on purpose, we're not building like everybody else. And they will tell you, like some will say, hey, you should, if you're going to open a business, you should get a business that's going out of business. Purchase a business by somebody who is looking to sell their business. Like somebody, especially right now, there's a whole thing about the transfer of wealth from the baby boomer generation to younger generations. And so, many baby boomers are not interested in running their businesses anymore. So some folks will say, "Hey, if you want to be a successful business owner, you've got to purchase from, baby boomers who are selling their businesses." Somebody else might say, "Get businesses that are unsexy, like businesses that, clean toilets or laundromats or whatever." And they'll say, get those kind of businesses. Those are the businesses that'll help you be successful. Other people will say you need to tap into a franchise, and somebody else will say, bootstrap it right from the start. Everybody's journey looks different. And the more you listen to people, the more pressure you may find yourself putting yourself on under that is not necessary, because your journey is not going to look the same as somebody else's journey. And it's not supposed to. God made you to be the masterpiece. If you are a masterpiece with plans that He has for you to do good works, what does that look like for you? What has God shown you? What has He said to you? Like, what has He revealed to you? What ideas has He given to you? What are the things that you're learning about yourself in this journey that absolutely don't look like everybody else? You're not supposed to be everybody else. Don't let that pressure build up and stop you from moving forward, because that's what happens. So a lot of times we will compare ourselves. The pressure is in comparing ourselves to other people who are doing something that we're interested in doing, or something like us. And so if you start comparing yourself, you stop listening to God. You stop following the plan that He has for your life, because you start then trying to do what everybody else is doing. You're not supposed to do what everybody else is doing. Don't get caught up in that. So what did God intend for you when He designed you? What did He intend when He designed you with the gifts that He gave to you? So I know I have different gifts, right? So, like, one of the gifts that I have is in the area of music and singing, right? So I know that this gift of music that God has given to me doesn't look like how it looks for everybody else. In fact, my family, my husband, my children also have a musical gift, but each of us have a different purpose and use for our gifts. Sometimes we come together and we'll sing together. Sometimes we don't. We all have a journey that we're supposed to be on with the gifts that God has given us, even though we all have that similar gift of music and singing, but it does not look the same and we don't treat it the same. So, music for like my husband and my son, they can write music as well. Like my son writes like crazy and he's written for a whole lot of people. And that's part of his journey in music. While my husband's journey in music is a little bit different, and my journey in music is very different. But I also come from a family of people who sing, and so every one of us, it looks different. Now we can come together, we can collaborate, and we can, build music together and sing together or whatever. And that's beautiful and it's wonderful when we do. And I love it and enjoy it. But I don't try to compare the gift that God has given to me to what anybody else has. And you can't do that either. What God has given to you is unique to you. It's supposed to be used the way He designed you. So you got to ask Him, okay, God, what do you want me to do with this? How would you have me to build this business? How would you have me to live out these dreams that you've put inside of me? He is the one that is the author and the finisher of our faith. He is the one that has written out the plan. Our lives are already written out. He already knows what we're supposed to do, which is why we're supposed to seek Him, which is why we are supposed to go to Him and say, "Hey, God, what is it that you want from me? How would you like for me to be responsible with what you have given to me, with the purpose that you've put inside of me, with the gifts that you've put inside of me? How would you like for me to walk this out?" Don't fall for the pressure that other people have. Listen, last week I talked about the seasons that we're in. We're all in different seasons. So maybe you're in the preparation season. And so your journey, if you're in the preparation season right now, God is building you. He is preparing you for what is ahead. You aren't going to have all the answers right now. You're not going to necessarily have a path that's already carved out for you. I mean, it is carved out, but you're not going to already know what that path looks like. You're being prepared for it. You haven't really started with the assignment that God may have for you. And that's okay. Live in that season. Live in the season of preparation and allow yourself to either maybe you have to go through some healing, maybe there's some learning, maybe there's some refining that has to happen for you to be able to live out the dreams that God has put inside of you. Live in that moment wherever you are. At some point, He's going to transition you to the next season. That season might be that season of planting, right? And so that season of planting looks a little bit different for some people. When you're in the season of planting, that's requiring of you. That's where you kind of you know, God is requiring of you. This is an opportunity for you to maybe start some of the work. Maybe you are doing some research and you're learning more about what it is for you to build this dream and to build this business that God has given you. Maybe God has you in the processing season. When we're in this processing season, like we have been being refined. We kind of our identity is being shaped in the season of processing. You are letting go of things that have held you back. So if fear has been in the way, you're letting go of the fear and you're taking the steps to move you forward. It's like you're being purified as like pure gold to come out and do the thing that God has given you to do. You are being developed in a way that needs to be developed. But maybe you're in the positioning season. And if you're in the positioning season, it is time you are moving forward at this point. And as you are moving forward, doors are opening, opportunities are coming your way. You are seeing more clearly what God had been preparing you for in the first place. But we've got to live in the season where we're in and not allow whatever external forces to pressure us into doing something and getting distracted from what God has given to us, what God has given to you. Don't allow yourself to jump into a season that you're not ready for, or to jump into a season that you're not supposed to be in yet. Just go with the flow and allow God to show you. But that doesn't mean that if He says for you to move forward, that you don't move forward. You got to move forward in building that business that He has put inside of you to build. You got to move forward. And that means the faith without works is dead. So that means that you are taking action and you're moving forward as as is needed, or as you have been directed and instructed. And don't get caught up in all the noise that's around you. You don't have to do things the way everybody else does things. But here's the thing, a lot of us struggle when we are building the thing that God has given us. A lot of us struggle and let fear stand in the way of that. I know that to be true because I talk to people on a weekly basis that are dealing with fear. Fear will paralyze us. Fear will stop us. Fear will whisper lies to us and will tell us that we can't move forward in doing what God has called us to do. But I'm here to tell you, you can tackle those fears. I have a resource that I want to give to you. It is called When Fear Knocks, because fear does come knocking. It's a 10-day devotional. Go to my website, tanyabreland.com. You have access to that. It is free. I'm not charging you for that. You can go through it for 10 days right there on your device. Whatever you write in your device, nobody can see it. I can't see it. It's private to you. You can download it if you prefer, but just go onto the website, tanyabreland.com, and get access to When Fear Knocks. When you're finished with that devotional, I want you to go deeper in this area of fear, because fear is deep. Fear is like there are layers to fear. A lot of times we'll think that, like, oh, I'm just nervous to be in front of an audience. That's why I don't like public speaking. It's deeper than that. And that deeper piece may be it's not just that you're nervous. It may be that you feel inadequate. It may be that you feel unqualified. And so you've got to deal with that imposter syndrome, or that self-concept that you have. And fear is the underlying reason for that. And so I want you to go deeper. So I have another a resource for you, and it is called Fear is Not Your Business Plan. I don't want fear to be the reason why you can't move forward in building the business that God has called you to build. It's an ebook. It also has an interactive companion, and it will walk you through, and it'll really help you dig a lot deeper into the root of some of the fears. And I would love for you to pick that up on my website as well, tanyabreland.com. Here's the thing. I've got more things that I'm going to be offering to you, more things that I'm going to be making available, including some programming where you can become a part of that. But I would love for you to join me again tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about, let's see, business is ministry, making money with meaning. Ooh, that's a good topic, right? So money is not the enemy. It is how we treat money that could become the enemy. But we're going to talk about more about what I mean by this whole topic here. I would love for you to join me. If anything that I've said resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. Inbox me, send me an email, Tanya@tanyabreland.com, and that's Tanya with an O. You can message me, whatever. Go to my website, tanyabreland.com. You can send me a message via the contact. However you reach out, I will respond. I do see my messages. In the meantime, pick up those resources on my website, deal with your fear, join me again tomorrow. And I hope that you continue to build on purpose and not have the pressure of comparing yourself to others, but doing what it is that God has for you, because you are a masterpiece. God bless you. Have a great rest of your day. And I'll look to see you tomorrow at 8:30 a.m.